Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where once again we gather to communicate in a whole different way than we normally do each day. Our communication is simple, but it comes from a complex base that in the physical world seems impossible. Yet you can feel the communication, you can feel the energy flow, and you can feel the interaction between each one of us. The brilliance of getting together each week is something that I can't explain, but it has an enormous value in everyone's life because it allows each person to switch on all those special gifts, all those special powers, and the energy fields that they didn't know they had. It seems like in the physical world you need a reason for everything, and getting together is a good reason. But beyond that, the greatest reason is you get a chance to amplify everything from everyone and send it back to them 1,000-fold, to encourage and to enhance their life. There are so many areas in the world that we could not take on the detail of even a fraction. It's enough for a local government to keep track of all the people in their environment, let alone all those that they don't have listed and all those that you can't see. So as we advance, we have to bring on many of the talents that we didn't think we would have to use. And one of them is the random access of everything at once, without thought and without attempting to decipher the detail. You can get an overall feeling of the world around you. And in addition, you can stretch that further and get an overall feeling of the whole universe. Besides not knowing how to decipher it, you have no idea what you're looking at. But that's only in the brain. And as soon as you access your advanced intelligence, you know exactly what you're looking at, you know how you're communicating, and you know that it's working. You can feel the energy flow, and you can feel everyone around you responding because you are transmitting. So each time we enter a different phase of our life, we can actually step forward into another place that we've never, ever called anything but the world beyond worlds and the world of your Creator. And as you step in there, all the rules change. All the rules actually disappear. And time doesn't obey any rules. So you can go backwards, forwards, sideways, upside down, any way you like, and discover what is needed, not in your life, but in the advanced life that actually accesses your future. That advanced life is actually where you, without knowing how, generate what you need for the future. And to try and put it into words is a little difficult. But each one of us knows that as we continue to interact with one another, we can find a way to make that exist in the physical world on a permanent basis, so that each time you think of how you're going and what you need to do next, you will just bypass that and go further into the world of magic and miracles to see really what's around and what's happening, and how this all affects each one of you depends on nothing at all. The brilliance of each person is starting to show in the physical world. And when I say starting, I mean the brilliance is showing, not just a little bit of light. The real brilliance of each person is expressing itself enormously in everyday life. The general conditions are not being adhered to. The advanced intelligence is looking past even the strictest of rules and saying, we can handle that ourselves. We don't need to use the law, the systems, just to sort our own life. We don't need to attack one another to get a solution. So each one of us is more intelligent than any law that's ever been placed anywhere at any time. And so you can, without disobeying any rules, you can change the direction of everything in that field where we are now. You don't have to meet anything head on in the physical world, because you have your ability that is beyond the fixed rules of the physical. I've said many times you can create another realm, and you often do. You want to speak to somebody and you're in a crowd. All of a sudden you do something and you don't know what it is, but you know nobody can listen. And you talk quite clearly to the other person, and nobody around you knows what you're talking about. You can do it across the table. You can do it without words. You can look at someone in a distance and pass a message. All these things happen in the world we're in right now. They happen because of your magic. And all we have to do is say we accept that in the physical world. The first time I wrote down, there's more in the unknown than there is in the known, people looked at me like I was funny. There's more we don't know than we know, by trillions. And so why not advance yourself to the point where you understand what's in the unknown? You understand the limitation of the world you're in, and you go beyond it. And you live beyond all the limits without even disturbing the physical world. You actually enhance it. You make things happen easily. You see that something is about to happen, and you make sure it's positive. You make sure it's better than anybody else could ever know. You make sure that you appear as your full self in the world where everybody can see you, but you're actually not a physical vision in front of them. Not yet, anyway. There are many occasions when you see people from the other side, particularly just after their death. Many millions of reported cases of visual. And it'll be quite amazing because one person will see the vision and all the people standing around won't see, but they'll feel it. They'll know the person is present. So the selective way in which we can actually see or not see, feel or not feel, is physical. And it exists in the physical world. So to deny anything in the physical world at all means you've just chopped off its legs and said it's something it's not. So the physical world is alive. All the beings in it are alive. And the interconnection is through fields where we interact and actually know what's happening before physical matter appears. And if you dare to step that far in, you can look at all possibilities in zero time and know that you have absorbed them all. And you can sit comfortably and get on with whatever you want to do. And all of a sudden, the possibilities that apply best to you will be sorted out by you and delivered probably through speech when you talk to somebody else. And you'll wonder where it all came from. It came from you. It came from the part of you that is super intelligent, that has facilities way beyond any computer, any supercomputer. And it can format the world in whatever way you see fit. And you notice I use the word see. So even in science, they're coming up with tests to prove that until you observe something, it's not in that form. Even if it's a brick wall, it's not in that form until you observe it. It exists as a free-floating mass of random frequencies that form colors that you can actually perceive as seeing. And yet they don't appear on any film if you take a photo. And you can see those colors in the fields around people. And this is why when you look at some people, you know what they do for a living, where they've just been. You know they've been to the beach or they've been to the woods because their vibration is different. And it's the field around them that allows them to generate a whole new world as they walk along. There is a mystery in everything. But once you say what you see, the mystery disappears. It actually becomes solid. And the world itself forms up in front of you the way it wants to, but not by means of it forcing itself on you. It forms up in front of you because you all observe a similar thing. You see images in the clouds, in the rocks, in the trees. You also see images in other people's faces. And many times you look at someone and you'll see their image change. This is all real. Science itself had to close down on all those variables to prove anything. We don't need proof because we can see, we can feel, we can enjoy life. We can see that it is exactly the life that we called in. Even if it's not so good, we still called it in. And because of that, we can step into the world of magic and miracles and take on a totally different format in the same physical world and the same physical time. So if you want to, you can decide to be happy all the time. And you don't have to say it. As you move forward, you present yourself as happy in a happy world. And you present that to your creator. And bingo, it's created. It sounds so simple because it is. And you see young children do it all the time. And the act of making somebody else feel good actually works better without words. The little smile, the nod, the transmission of encouragement, sudden transmission through your eyes and through your heart of appreciation, all work better than a million words or 1,000 Facebook pages. And they're instant. This communication system that we have is so advanced. The greatest systems of the world can't catch up. And many of the things that have been developed in the world are developed because people can already do it. Occasionally there'll be a person who's a mad mathematician, and they'll find out what makes the person tick, and they'll try and make something similar. They get close because they set rules, and then they test the person against the rules. But without the rules, the person can do things that the computer can't. It's like tracing another person who walked through your house a week ago. Some people can switch onto those frequencies and tell you who they were and where they are now. That's not rare. That's available to each one of us if we want to. We don't have to. But know that you are capable of any and all of the things that have been presented in the world, and you came to deliver more fantastic things than there's ever been written. Your ability to just wave your hand and change a person's life is enormous. Unfortunately, been used for the wrong purpose at times. But as you know your capability and how it affects your world, you will always act with dignity and advanced intelligence, and the knowing that you never have to run into anything or anyone. the billions of combinations that are available in the random fields that we work in and we live in have never ever been touched by anything or anyone except a human being. And the human brain is not the source. The source is outside the body, and the human brain is linked to it, but it's not the source. So you can transmit to somebody and you can feel someone without seeing them, without registering it in your brain. Your body will react sometimes and it hasn't had a signal from you. Know that your being reacts all the time without a signal from you. And your personal supercomputer is off there doing its thing and changing the world and changing the future and making sure that time fits you and you don't fit time, and that everything in your day is exciting and moving all the time. And your intelligence allows you to absorb a whole book by just holding it. You can pick something up and say, yes, that's good. Yeah, I'd like to read that. Or I don't need to read that. It's great to hold. You can do it with food. You can pick the food up and say, that's good food. You don't necessarily have to have a label. You know, that's all part of your system, part of your supercomputer, and part of your advanced intelligence. And that all comes from the world beyond worlds, called your origin. And to access that, all you do is step forward into the flow. Feel it, know it's there. Follow the random paths of your spirit and smile at the kaleidoscope of color that presents itself as it interacts with your light field and makes you so exotic you can't even explain it. Every world is aware of your presence, even the worlds that you don't know are there. Every dimension is open to you and your advanced intelligence. So you can be standing near the people who have created a dimension, facing the other way and out of earshot. And if you want to, you can switch into that dimension. Just like you can hear one particular engine on the highway if you want to, or it can just be background noise. Your intelligence is such that you don't need rules. It doesn't lead you. It allows you to be you, and it allows you to present to the world more and more each day of the gifts that you feel build up inside you each time you allow yourself to be that massive being that is in the field of the universe. That majestic being that glows each time you look at it. And the field activates and produces energies in your body and around you and in the field that interacts with everyone, even at 100,000 miles away. In fact, it's stronger the further it is away. The opposite to what science says. So you can be more aware of somebody on the other side than you are about somebody in the same room. And that's where reality is. It's the thing that stays. So if you had all sorts of things wrong with your body and you were complaining, and some little kid raced up and kicked you in the shins, it's all gone. All you want to do is get back that kid that kicked you in the shins. If you were talking to your mother that had passed and someone did that to you, your mother wouldn't go away. And your field would not dissipate. So many things that are real we call fictitious, and many things that are fictitious we call them real. Get used to the fact that the reality is solid. The field that you work in contains everything before it actually turns into matter. And where it goes and what it does is totally random until your influence steps into it. So enjoy riding with everybody in the field and knowing there are millions and millions, but you don't see any detail. You just know about it. Just like you don't see any detail when you look off a mountain. You just know it's beautiful. And in fact, in the middle of all that, there might be a fire that you don't see. It still makes up a beautiful canvas, a beautiful feeling. And at the same time, you can say there's going to be a storm soon. Because you are switched on to all the elements and they talk to you in that field before they actually turn into matter. So to many, they may think this is freaky. But in fact, I'm telling you, beyond a doubt, each one of you is smarter than any being on earth, because there is no comparison. And you can do whatever you wish without disturbing anyone. If you start to disturb someone, you'll find you can't do it. So you find all the frequencies that work for you, and you're an expert at it. Even if you've got an injury, you can take a deep breath and close down for a little bit, and you'll find a place where you're okay. Even though your body may be suffering, there's a place and there's a position, there's a set of frequencies that's perfect for you, even if you've damaged yourself. So we're totally looked after in every way. And anything that's disturbing you disappears as soon as you walk into the field, because you're then in amongst all the original fields and frequencies that make up matter, even that make up your body. So you can actually walk around inside your body or inside the universe. Same thing. And you don't have to have the detail. You can wave your hand and pain will disappear. You can inject the multiplicity of frequencies that belong to you into your body and watch the performance. It will gradually settle everything down, make you smile, and give you energy that you won't believe. And it actually switches on your engine. The big one, the one that can provide power beyond any power we've ever built on Earth. Where you can hold your hand up and someone can't walk forward. And you've all done it at some stage. But the purpose is not to stop. The purpose is to continue to give more energy and more enjoyment to everybody's field so that they can run free without restriction and never, ever run into opposition of any sort anywhere. So with that, I'd like to finish off by once again offering everyone from the deepest part of myself a perfect life, perfect health, and an extremely magic future. Thank you.